In the vast history of the Zelda series, divine beings have always played a vital role in the world's story, like the Windfish, whose dream gave birth to an island paradise, or the four giants, who caught the falling moon with their united strength. These ancient, powerful entities are woven deeply into the fate of the land, sometimes the cause of its very troubles, and at other times, the only force that can prevent them. But no sacred being is as influential or revered as the Goddess Hylia, a deity entrusted with the protection of the world and the Triforce, who would one day make the ultimate sacrifice to relinquish her immortality, her divinity, and even her very name, to defend the land she'd sworn to protect from a great, malevolent evil fast approaching. Stories of her deeds echo across the ages, from the dawn of Hyrule's founding to its ruined, overrun future. This is the story of Hylia, the goddess who sacrificed everything for her kingdom. Long before time began, there lay an empty, formless void, and into this nothingness descended three celestial beings, the golden goddesses, Din, Lanayru, and Faron. Together they shaped the land, established order, and breathed life into the new world. With their work now complete, the golden goddesses departed for the heavens, but in their wake, they left behind a sacred artifact, the legendary Triforce, a physical embodiment of their eternal strength, designed to be the guiding force of the land's intelligence, and the basis for the world's providence. Due to the Triforce's immense power, the golden goddesses entrusted it to the goddess Hylia, a servant of their divine will, created for one purpose: to protect the almighty relic and guard the land from any who would seek to abuse its power. And with this final act, the golden goddesses vanished from the earth, leaving their newly formed world and the Triforce in the hands of Hylia. Under her watch, the land flourished. Races from across the world such as the Kikwi, Perella, Gorons, Mogma, humans, and even an ancient race of robots all lived in harmony. And structures such as the Temple of Hylia, a holy sanctuary housing a colossal statue of the goddess herself, were raised in gratitude for her protection. However, this era of prosperity did not last. One dark day, a great fissure split the earth, and from its depths rose an army of demonic beings, led by their king, an eternal entity known only as Demise. With his endless horde of monstrous followers, he brought ruin to the surface world. Forests were reduced to ash, sacred springs were choked with blight, and the innocent were slaughtered without hesitation, all in pursuit of the Triforce's ultimate power to gain omnipotence over the realm. This vicious assault was unlike anything the land had seen, and despite the goddess's divine strength, the armies protecting the Triforce began to fall. With evil rapidly engulfing the land, Hylia was given no choice but to evacuate the surviving humans and the Triforce itself by raising them to the skies, before casting a magical cloud barrier separating the heavens from the ravaged surface below. With the survivors and the Triforce now safe, the goddess, wielding the holy goddess sword, rallied the remaining tribes of the surface into a final stand, and after a long, grueling battle, Demise fell, and was sealed away by Hylia herself. Peace was returned to this tortured land once more, but only for a time. You see, Hylia had been gravely wounded in the battle, and despite the defeat of the Demon King, the goddess knew that his threat was far from over. To seal him away, Hylia had driven a blessed artifact called the Sealing Spike through the Demon King's skull, stripping him of his demonic form, warping his body into something monstrous, a beast known only as the Imprisoned, which was then itself sealed at the bottom of a dark, gaping pit beneath the very place where the statue of the goddess once stood. But even this would not last forever. One day, Demise would break free and wreak havoc upon the world once more. To counter this, Hylia devised two separate plans. Firstly, she created Phi, an AI-like spirit that would reside within the goddess sword, whose singular purpose was to await Hylia's chosen hero and assist him throughout his journey in the distant future. Hylia also created the Isle of Song, Strongholds, a mystical sanctuary shrouded in a violent, swirling wind that lies high above the clouds, and hidden within its halls, Hylia placed 3 divine melodies, sacred songs that served as keys, awakened through the magnificent power of the Goddess Harp, the very tool Hylia used in her battle to thwart the Demon King's assault. Once these melodies are awakened, they will grant the chosen hero passage to the Silent Realm, the spiritual plane where Hylia would test his power, wisdom, and courage. But these trials were more than just simple tests of spirit. Each bestows upon the hero a blessed gift, relics crafted by the goddess herself, unlocking the path to the sacred flames, a mystical artifact that, when absorbed into the goddess sword, imbues it with purified power, until at last it is reforged into a weapon of legend, the Master Sword. A blade not only designed to banish evil, but one that embodies the spirit of Hylia's chosen hero, empowering him with the strength to stand against the Demon King upon his inevitable return. But even here, Hylia's preparations were not yet complete. The goddess knew that the sheer might of the Master Sword alone was not enough to vanquish Demise for good. To truly destroy him, a chosen hero would require something greater, the almighty power of the Triforce itself, now hidden deep within the shrine beneath the statue of the goddess. Hylia feared this relic might one day fall into the wrong hands, so she concealed its location behind one final trial, a trial that could only be entered through the power of another sacred melody, the Song of the Hero, now divided into 4 verses, with each entrusted to one of the realm's great protectors, who watch over the land in Hylia's name: Faron, the Water Dragon; Eldin, the Fire Dragon; Lanayru, the Thunder Dragon; and above them all, soaring high above the clouds, Levias, Warden of the Skies. The goddess had planned for her chosen hero to seek out the various guardians to earn each verse of the Song of the Hero, as only then could the gateway to the final Silent Realm be revealed, finally granting the chosen hero access to the resting place of the Triforce. With Hylia's first plan put into motion, she came to a devastating realization, a limitation even a goddess could not overcome. As a deity, Hylia herself is forbidden from wielding the legendary power of the Triforce, a law etched into the very fabric of the world by the golden goddesses themselves, ensuring that its limitless power could only ever be used by mortals. For a moment, all hope seemed lost, but Hylia was not ready to give up just yet. Here, she set her second plan into motion. To overcome the golden goddess's divine law, Hylia would have to become something lesser, something far weaker, a mortal. And so, the goddess made the greatest sacrifice imaginable. She relinquished her divinity, surrendered her immortality, and sealed away her eternal soul, to one day be reborn, not as a deity, but as a human, a fragile being, bound by time, with no memory of her former life, yet capable of wielding the Triforce's ultimate power, allowing her to stand alongside her chosen hero in his destined battle against the Demon King. And so, centuries later, during a time known as the Sky Era, Hylia's blessed spirit returned to the land, born on the floating isle of Skyloft, one of the many outcrops of earth the goddess had raised into the heavens so long ago, now blossomed into a peaceful civilization, complete with markets, homes, and the Knights Academy, a school where young students train to become defenders of the sky. A land filled with majestic creatures known as Loftwings, loyal birds who share a lifelong bond with their riders, soaring together through the endless skies of this prosperous world. And within this haven, the soul of the goddess found a new form, as a mortal of compassion and quiet strength, a being who wields the goddess's sacred harp, a girl named Zelda. With Hylia's plan fully underway, Zelda and a young man named Link begin to unknowingly walk the path laid out for them by the goddess long ago. On the morning of Skyloft's Great Wing Ceremony, an annual celebration honouring the goddess and her chosen hero, Zelda is chosen to play the role of Hylia, while students of the Knight Academy must compete in a race, a trial to decide who will assume the role of the chosen hero. Through sheer strength and skill, Link emerges victorious, and so the two close friends ascend to the summit of the great statue of the goddess. Here, Zelda bestows upon Link the sailcloth, a ceremonial gift said to be a replica of the very cloth granted to the chosen hero by Hylia in ages past. As the ceremony comes to a close, Zelda and Link take to the skies, soaring atop their loft wings in celebration of Link's hard-earned victory. But suddenly, without warning, a violent, dark tornado tears through the clouds, ripping Zelda and her loft wing from the sky, casting them into the misty abyss below. After a while, Zelda comes to, awakening in a strange, unfamiliar forest far beneath the skies she once called home. Here, she is met by a mysterious old woman who tells her that her fall was no mere accident, but the beginning of a destiny foretold. To awaken the truth within herself, she must seek out 3 ancient temples scattered across the land, and at each, she must offer a prayer to the goddess in sacred springs, prayers that will stir slumbering memories hidden deep within her soul. And so, bearing the harp of the goddess, Zelda sets forth, venturing through the wilds of Faron woods towards the ancient sanctuary known as Skyview Temple. After navigating the temple's mossy halls, Zelda arrives at its blessed spring, where a radiant statue of the goddess stands silent before her. She approaches, kneels, and clasps her hands in prayer, placing her faith in this divine mission, and taking the first step toward reclaiming the spirit of the goddess within. With her first prayer complete, Zelda sets her sights on the scorched heights of Eldin Volcano. There, beyond the rivers of molten stone, lies the Earth Temple, a sacred sanctuary said to house another spring blessed by the goddess herself. But as Zelda draws near, danger strikes. A horde of bokoblins, monstrous servants of Demise's rising darkness, close in on her position. And just when all hope seems lost, a mysterious figure intervenes. A cloaked woman, revealed to be Impa, the last of the Sheikah, and an agent of the goddess, sent to protect Zelda in her time of need. With Impa's protection, Zelda presses onward, until at last, she finally stands before another statue of the goddess. Here, she offers her second prayer, one that fully awakens the memories buried deep within her soul. And now, with the truth of her former life as Hylia beginning to resurface, Impa leads her to the next stage of her journey. Using the goddess harp, Zelda opens a portal of light to a mystical sanctuary hidden deep within the Lanayru desert, called the Temple of Time. But just as she prepares to step through, she senses a familiar presence. Link, a childhood friend, stands before her, guided by Fi, the spirit dwelling within the goddess sword, showing he too has followed the path laid out for him by the goddess long ago. Just as the two are about to embrace, Impa bars the way, insisting Zelda must focus, as her mission is not yet complete. Reluctantly, Zelda abides, sorrow filling her face as she tells Link that she must go. And without another word, she steps into the portal of light, her path now set toward the Temple of Time. In the blink of an eye, Zelda arrives at the Temple of Time, with Impa close behind. The ancient structure towers above the sands of the Lanayru desert, its hallowed interior untouched by the clutches of evil. And together, they cross the stone bridge toward the Gate of Time. And at Impa's command, Zelda draws her harp and plays a heavenly melody, the Ballad of the Goddess, the key to awakening this gate's divine power. As its notes echo throughout the temple, ethereal symbols shimmer to life. But before Zelda can step through, she senses another familiar presence. Link, once again, stands before her. Yet peace was short-lived, as an explosion tore through the temple's entrance, revealing a dark being named Girahim, a sinister servant of the Demon King. His intent is clear: to seize the awakened goddess and use her soul to resurrect his fallen master. Just as Girahim begins his assault, Impa charges into his path, shielding Zelda with her life. And amid the chaos, Zelda calls out to Link, channeling a beam of light into the goddess harp, sending it soaring across the divide, entrusting him with its sacred power. But suddenly, Girahim shatters Impa's defense, and just as he's about to strike a final blow, Link intervenes, standing firm between the demon and the goddess reborn. With the portal still open, Impa gives Link one final look of gratitude. Then she and Zelda step through the gate of time, destroying it behind them, ensuring they cannot be followed by the Dark Servant. Together, they emerge into the same land, but 1,000 years in the past, where the final act of the goddess's plan must now unfold. Deep within the sealed grounds, where the Demon King Demise lies bound in slumber. As Zelda and Impa step into the heart of the sealed grounds sacred temple, they await the arrival of the chosen hero. And once Link appears, Master Sword in hand, Zelda reveals the truth behind everything. She speaks of the Triforce's origin, the ancient war between Hylia and Demise, and the divine plan the goddess set into motion to prevent the Demon King's return. But most importantly, she reveals that Link is the chosen hero, and that she is Hylia reborn. With the truth laid bare, Zelda tells Link of his own place in this story, that through solving devious puzzles, he's gained wisdom. Through tempering both himself and his blade, he's found power, and through overcoming every trial laid before him, he's proven his courage. With these three virtues, Link is now worthy to wield the Triforce in its entirety, granting him the potential to banish Demise for eternity. And it is here that Zelda blesses the Master Sword, imbuing it with the power to drive back demons. She explains this was the goddess's plan all along, to guide Link through his love for Zelda, to lead him on an impossible journey, to shape him into the hero who could save the world. But Zelda, burdened by guilt, is ashamed of having manipulated the one who trusted her the most, and so she chooses to pay the ultimate price for Hylia's actions. She decides to remain here in the sealed temple, suspended in stasis, to strengthen and uphold the seal that binds Demise, and that only when Demise is destroyed in the present will she be able to awaken. With tears in her eyes, she tells Link how she longs for the quiet days they once shared in Skyloft. But then, before he can stop her, Zelda seals herself within the shell of an amber crystal, preparing to lie dormant for thousands of years to guard the seal placed by the goddess. And in her final words, she looks to Link and tells him, "While it's true that I'm Hylia reborn, I'm still your friend. I'm still your Zelda." With Zelda sealed away in the ancient past, Link returns to the present to continue his journey. To rid the realm of Demise for good, he must find the Triforce and use its boundless strength. So after overcoming the various trials set by the realm's guardians, Link assembles the Song of the Hero, and at last claims the sacred relic in its entirety. Upon claiming its godly power, Link ascends atop Skyloft's great goddess statue, where he makes his wish to destroy Demise forever. Suddenly, the island begins to tremble, breaking away from the peaceful island of Skyloft, plummeting towards the shrouded surface below. Just as the imprisoned breaks free from his seal, the entire island comes crashing down, obliterating the Demon King's beastly form, with black energy emerging from below the sealed grounds, confirming that his death is absolute. With Demise finally defeated, Link rushes into the sealed temple, and here, after 1,000 years, Zelda awakens from her slumber, falling into the arms of the hero, her closest friend. Together, they step forward, reunited at last, greeted by the allies who aided Link on his long and perilous journey. But suddenly, a blinding light tears through the temple ceiling, striking down Link and Zelda, and from behind a pillar, the dark servant Girahim emerges, with his master destroyed in the present. Girahim enacts a desperate final scheme. He seizes Zelda and vanishes through the Gate of Time, fleeing to the distant past, where a sealed demise awaits his return. Now holding the soul of the goddess, Girahim approaches the seal, imprisoning his master, using the essence of Zelda's divine spirit, in hopes of resurrecting the Demon King. But Link follows closely behind, engaging in a dangerous battle with the Twisted Servant. Blows are exchanged in a furious clash, and though gravely wounded, Girahim endures the might of Link's sacred blade, buying just enough time for his dark plan to succeed. From the shattered seal of the imprisoned, darkness erupts, revealing the Demon King demise in his true godly form, reborn and full of vengeance. Here, he beckons the hero to fight him in a realm of his own creation, in a final, fate-altering battle between the forces of light and darkness. And Link, wielding the Master Sword, accepts his challenge, and what follows is a legendary showdown, a brutal contest between two forces, each capable of overwhelming the other. But at last, after a long, grueling struggle, the chosen hero prevails. The Demon King is finally defeated, yet in his dying breath, Demise utters a curse, one that will echo through eternity, that those who carry the spirit of the hero and the blood of the goddess shall be forever bound to an endless cycle of conflict against an incarnation of his hatred. And with that, Demise disintegrates, his body reduced to ash, his malevolent soul sealed forever within the Master Sword. Hylia's divine mission was finally complete. The Demon King had been vanquished, and as his spirit fades, Link lays the Master Sword to rest in its pedestal, bidding a final farewell to his spirit companion as Fi begins her eternal sleep within its hilt. Now, the group prepares to return to their own time, but just as they are about to leave, Impa says that she can't go with them. She reveals that she's a being of this era, and with her duty to protect the mortal incarnation of the goddess now fulfilled, she must remain to watch over the sacred sword and the era it belongs to. In a gesture of gratitude, Zelda offers Impa one of her bracelets, a symbol of their bond forged through this adventure of hardships and sacrifice. And with that, the group enter the Gate of Time, returning to the world in the present. But here, they are met by the old woman, the one who had guided both Link and Zelda from the very beginning of their journey. She reveals her true identity to be Impa, aged by 1,000 years, waiting to fulfill her role in Hylia's divine plan. Just as she and Zelda reunite, Impa fades into particles of light, her purpose now complete, her soul finally at peace, and behind her, the Master Sword remains, resting in silence, awaiting the day it will be needed once more. In the days that follow, Link and Zelda stand atop the statue of the goddess, where Zelda speaks of her dreams, how the world below the clouds once felt like a fantasy, now made a reality, and that she wishes to remain here to help build a new civilization that will endure for generations to come, with Link by her side. And so, their legendary journey comes to a close, bringing the dawn of a new, peaceful age, leading to the founding of Hyrule, a kingdom etched into the history of the Zelda series for ages to come. Hylia's story may be over, but her legacy endures, echoing across time and through the countless generations that follow. In the distant, post-apocalyptic world of Breath of the Wild, remnants of her worship still remain. Statues of the goddess are found standing silent in the decayed Temple of Time, and many of the thriving towns found throughout this ruined land. It is said the people of Hyrule offer these statues their prayers, reaching out to her hallowed essence in their time of need. alongside an order of ancient Sheikah monks devoted to her heavenly being, who claim to be blessed with her sight and guided by her will, with their shrines scattered across the land, lying in wait for the legendary hero to aid him in his quest to seal away the beastly calamity Ganon. But Hylia's presence is more than just worshipped. Every princess of Hyrule who bears the name Zelda is bound to the goddess's spirit, with each praying to these ancient goddess statues in hopes of awakening the sacred power of light slumbering within their bloodline, the very same power Hylia once wielded when she walked the earth in mortal form, forever binding her spirit to the royal family and the fate of the kingdom itself, solidifying her place in the timeless mythos in the legend of Zelda. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like or subscribe to the channel for more Zelda content like this in the future. What are your thoughts on the Goddess Hylia? Is she truly worthy of all the praise she receives? Or could her actions be the very reason Hyrule is doomed to fall time and time again? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, that's all from me for today, so I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.